Right, so today's video is going to be a bit of an interesting one because it's technically a follow-up from a previous video I did, although you might not be aware that I've done this video in the past. Now, the reason why you might not be aware is because it actually got taken down very quickly after I uploaded it a few months ago. And it was a video I did on an influencer called Acacia Kersey or Acacia Brindley. They kind of went by both names online throughout the years. And she's an influencer who was really big on Tumblr in the 2010s, and then when it got to 2020, she kind of just disappeared from the internet for a couple of years, and then eventually came back to the internet right at the end of 2022. And it was right at the end of 2022 that I made my video kind of talking about how she just came back to the internet and the reasons why she might have left in the first place. Well, that video got taken down due to community guidelines for some reason. I actually have no idea why, but I mean, that's YouTube for you. And that was actually the last time I spoke about Acacia Kersey on this channel, and to be honest, kind of forgot about her. Up until I was checking my Instagram DMs to see what you guys wanted me to cover on my channel, and I was getting a few DMs with links to TikToks about Acacia Kersey. Now at first I thought, oh, this must be a bit of an old situation, because I haven't heard about Acacia in a long time, didn't really know she was even posting anymore, but no, this is a situation that has only just blew up within the last couple of days. And it's actually really sad. It's to do with her children and people claiming that she is neglecting her children because of this clip that was going around of them at the park, and we will get into the new situation in just a second, but first I think it's only right to give some context as to why quite a few people don't seem to like Acacia Kersey that much. So Acacia neglecting her children and her pets is a big reason why people have a problem with her. So let's start with the pets here, because Acacia's had a lot of them. I mean, here's a Sphinx kitten that she had, and bear in mind when we're going to go through all the cats that Acacia has had in the past, she's allergic to cats, but she keeps getting them. But yeah, she decided to rehome this cat, and the new owner of the cat actually went to Twitter to talk about how bad this cat's health was, and how it seemed like they just hadn't been looked after at all. And the new owner was giving updates saying stuff like he has to get all his teeth extracted tomorrow, and a bunch more stuff about this cat's health and how it just seemed like he was really neglected. Here's another cat that Acacia had called Cotton that she eventually got rid of, and there's also a video on her channel that I believe has now been deleted, but she had actually left her cat, Cotton, alone in the house for 4 days while she went on a trip, and all she left him was 2 bowls of food, and then when she got back, the cat hadn't even ate any of the food because the house was infested by ants. So she just basically left the cat to starve, really.
The house has been taken over by ants.
It's disgusting.
And we feel terrible because Cotton was staying here, and we gave him like 2 bowls of food and just like a giant thing of water, so he'd be fine while we were gone for 4 days.
I'm sorry, is that normal? Like, I've never had a cat, because I am allergic to cats, so I physically can't have one. But leaving your cat for 4 days and then just giving it 2 bowls of food and hoping for the best seems a bit fucking stupid to me. Because I know you can't exactly compare the animals, right? But I know for a fact, if I left 2 bowls of food for my dog, he would eat both bowls of food instantly and then have no more food for the 4 days. Not that I would ever leave him for 4 days, obviously. But I'm just trying to put into context how stupid that sounds to me, but maybe there's something I don't know here.
And it's just like covered with ants, like in every spot. So he didn't eat anything because the ants were just all over it.
So yeah, I can see why a lot of people don't believe that Acacia is a very good pet owner, but we're not done just yet with the pets. Here we have another cat that Acacia had called BB-8. Still don't really know what that name means. But here she is explaining why she had to rehome BB-8, and it's because she had a really bad allergic reaction from him, because she's allergic to cats, even though she keeps getting cats. I feel like a lot of this could have been avoided through common sense, you know, like, you know you're allergic to cats, maybe don't get a cat. The same way that I'm actually allergic to certain dog breeds, so I did my research to make sure that I would find a dog breed that I'm not allergic to, and I'm not allergic to Bailey, obviously. And I don't know much about cats. I don't know if you can get like hypoallergenic cats. I don't know if that's a real thing, but you can definitely get hypoallergenic dogs. I believe that's how you say it anyways. So yeah, like, if you just do a bit of research, these situations are so easy to avoid, and if it was just one pet that she had to rehome, I would have some sympathy, you know, like, okay, you got a pet for the first time, you thought you would be able to take care of the pet, turns out you can't, so you're gonna rehome the pet. I would have some sympathy for that, right? But the fact it's happened on multiple occasions, it's just like, you can't even feel sorry for her. She knows what she's doing. It seems like she just wants to get a pet for a couple of months because she's a bit lonely, and then when she's not, she'll just get rid of them. And we're not done yet, because she also had this dog here called Jabba, which is a very fucking cute dog, and I feel really bad for him because, I mean, as you can probably imagine, She got rid of him. Yeah, as we can see by this tweet here, she's saying, my mum's given me enough a day to find a home, so if any of my friends really want a nice cute puppy, then you can have Jabba. And yet again, we're still not done, because here's Acacia saying that she's now got a new dog called Tibbers. This was in 2015, and it's the same breed as the dog she's just got rid of, but apparently she was now ready for this dog, I guess. In fact, she was so ready for this dog, she actually got 2 more dogs, so at this point she had 3 dogs. Well, it didn't take long for her to realise that she couldn't look after 3 dogs, so she got rid of 2 of them. Like, this is just such an ongoing process right now. It's actually a bit disgusting when you think about it. Like I said, you would kind of understand if it happened once, but how many times have we just spoke about here? Maybe like 7, 8 times it seems like? That's far too much. But yeah, apart from the fact that Acacia's got rid of a lot of her pets, there was a lot more details as to why people don't particularly like Acacia. Like, she has tried scamming people on many occasions. I'm not going to go through too much detail regarding the scams and whatnot because it has nothing to do with this new situation that's happened. But long story short, there was a situation where this coat company sent Acacia this really expensive coat that she was supposed to wear at her wedding. It actually arrived too late for the wedding, but instead of Acacia either sending the coat back or doing the promotion, because they sent her the coat to promote it, that was like the deal, she did neither. She just kept the coat and didn't promote it, meaning this company just sent her a very expensive item expecting some type of promotion, and she just didn't, and it actually resulted in the company having to threaten a lawsuit. There was also a situation where she was selling this preset pack for photography. So basically she would sell these filters that you could put on your pictures to make them look better, but turns out she had actually stole them from someone else who made these filters, who was also trying to sell them, but was getting way less sales now because Acacia just stole the presets off her, and because she had a bigger name, she was now getting the sales. And when Acacia was called out for this by the person who originally created the preset, she finally admitted it after denying it, but then later went on to say that she's not going to tell people publicly that she stole them because it would ruin her image, even though she's just basically stole a lot of business off this person who originally created it. And yet, other than that, when it comes to like scammy type stuff, there's some other situations where she would like sell stuff on Depop and claim it's really expensive when in actual reality it was like some really cheap piece of clothing and just stuff like that. She would do a lot to try and get some money. But getting away from the scams because it doesn't have that much to do with this new situation. Like we mentioned earlier, Acacia has also been accused of child neglect, and specifically for one of her children. She actually has 2 children, I believe. I think she has one called Brinley and one called Rosemary, and Rosemary was born with a bunch of health problems. And a lot of people seem to hold the opinion that Acacia cares for Rosemary a lot less than she does Brinley. Now, the reason for this is because in videos you would see that Rosemary wouldn't have her nails cut and whatnot. Also in her videos you would see that her hair was never really brushed and it was actually really matted. There was also videos where they went on hikes and Rosemary wouldn't have a jacket, but Brinley would have a jacket. And there was also a bunch of other stuff in the videos where Acacia would say that her children wouldn't have to brush their teeth if they didn't want to and stuff like this. You know, just really basic hygiene that she would just let her children not do, which isn't healthy by any means. And when she would get called out for this, she would try and justify it, right? Because we've got a comment right here from someone just basically calling her out, being like, why would you say she doesn't have to brush her teeth? To which Acacia would say, she has taught both sides, but is not shame for choosing against maybe the more obvious answer, because some days we just don't want to do things, and that's okay. Some days we don't want to shower. Some days we don't want to change out of PJs. Some days we don't want to eat healthy or brush our hair. There's no judgment here. Rosie is still a little too young to say yes or no, but if she's really upset, we immediately stop doing something unless medically required, but Brinley decides everything we can do to her body, including her teeth. We promote healthy habits, but if she decides to skip a brushing, we don't force her. Which is obviously very worrying because, you know, stuff like brushing your teeth is a very basic necessity. But then moving on to the much more worrying stuff that a lot of people had problems with was situations like when Rosemary actually had open heart surgery at the age of 2, and then just a couple days later, after this major surgery, they took Rosemary camping. As you can see, here's a picture of them with Brinley and Rosemary out camping just a few days after an open heart surgery, which is definitely a time where Rosemary should be resting. There would also be times on Acacia's Instagram where she would warn people that she's about to post an ad, so we've got stuff like this here that says, sharing more self-intimacy and where to start. And in this picture, you can see that she would show her children to promote the ad that's coming up. And then when she eventually posted the ad, it was for a sex toy. So a lot of people had a problem with the fact that she was including her kid in an advert for a sex toy, obviously. And honestly, I haven't really had a chance to cover everything to do with Acacia and the situations that have had a lot of people pissed off throughout the years, and it's a very deep iceberg, but yeah, I just wanted to give some context before we get to the new situation. But getting to the new situation now, there was this video that started going viral on TikTok where there was some children at a play park that had just been neglected by their mother and were seen like trying to climb on top of the car, which obviously could be really fucking dangerous.
Is that?
Yeah, so you can see a kid in a nappy climbing on top of the car. No one looking after them. A very worrying situation, to say the least. Another kid sat at a picnic cloth just by themselves. And then you can see a mother coming over saying, like, what are you doing to try and help out? Well, it turns out these two kids were Acacia's kids. And she was actually seen at this park moments before she left them and decided to go into the woods to play on her Nintendo Switch. I wish I was joking. Yeah, as we can see, here's some pictures of Acacia with her children. She sat with the child who was eventually left, as we can see in the bottom picture here. And from Acacia's own Instagram at this time, she was posting stuff in her story like this, saying, "Good morning from under the treetops." And then also this post here in the woods, playing on her Nintendo Switch when she's just left her two children to play at the park and climb on top of her car.
There's a couple of photos of her. She starts off on the blanket with her child, slowly moves away from her, and then eventually just leaves her alone on this blanket. And as you can see, this is the street right here.
Yeah, I mean, something really fucking bad could have happened, and thank God it didn't, obviously, because this could have ended so much worse.
Where she went to go take pictures of herself while leaving her children out and alone.
And as you can see here as well, this is the mother we saw in the video who was really worried about children that weren't her children. She was just very worried about their safety and wondering where their parents are. And she's now looking over being like, really? You walked into the woods and left your children here unattended?
This post says, my friend was at a park playing with her kids. She sent me a snap of some kid climbing on top of a van while his mom had walked off into the woods and left her 3 kids alone. Here's her child playing on top of the car.
Bloody hell, man.
She's nowhere to be found.
I don't understand the thought process.
She then goes on to say that she felt so bad for the kids. The mom was laying on the blanket the whole time taking selfies and ignoring her kids. She also said the kids looked dirty and the little boy had a full diaper with no pants on. I guess the mom left and walked off into the woods and didn't say anything to the kids and left her baby on the blanket, which was close to the road. That's when the little boy climbed on top of the van and the oldest little girl ran into the woods to go get her mom. And then they're saying after the mom ripped the little boy off the roof, she went straight back to being on her phone and ignoring the kids.
It's obviously a really sad situation, and it's unfortunate because it seems like obviously nothing's really changed from the opinions that people have had throughout the years anyways. And when you add this situation, which is very, very recent, on top of all the stuff that we've previously spoke about, you can see why people don't exactly have great opinions on Acacia Kersey. Now, she actually hasn't addressed any of this from what I can tell. She is still just posting stuff on TikTok, but just deleting a lot of comments, and you see she's getting called out for this. So this is the video she's posted. Extremely talented, as you can see. But if we look at the comments here, you can see people posting, "You definitely can't delete comments and manipulate your way out of this one, Acacia. You are neglecting your children. They could have been kidnapped or seriously hurt. Acacia, literally, what is wrong with you?" And yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone's just saying the same thing, saying like, what is actually happening, what is wrong with you, all that stuff. And you can't blame people, right? But yeah, I would love to know your opinions on this specific situation and everything we spoke about in today's video. Like I said, a lot of the stuff I mentioned today is stuff I previously covered, but it's a video that was taken down literally a day after I posted it, so a lot of you haven't had a chance to see it. So I thought if I'm gonna do a follow-up on Acacia, let's get all the information out there that I previously spoke about. I feel like that was the best way to do it. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please do like down below, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.